Instead of being indoors today, we have a threat of rain, but we're going to get this video in today and grateful to it. You know, we're sitting here by a fountain here in my front yard. Some of the most tranquil moments in my life, early in the spring and in the fall. We can crack these windows and we can hear this water trickling down this fountain. And there's something about water that just gives you that great sense of tranquility and peace. And did you realize that, talking to a landscaper this last week, that there are people that spend millions of dollars in landscaping with water features such like this? This isn't $1 million feature here, I just want to clarify. But people are desperately looking for peace, for tranquility, and they're willing to pay an enormous price for that in their yard. You can drive in some of the great housing additions and see huge fountains, beautiful flowers, to try to draw on that great sense of peace. The reality is you can have peaceful moments. I've had a lot of them. But I want to remind you that kind of peace is temporal. It's not eternal. It is fleeting. It is fleeting as the next newscast in many occasions. What I want to share with you this morning is we have peace that is mentioned in the Bible. As a matter of fact, we find that Paul describes the fruit of the Spirit, that which we are to possess. Part of that is that we are to have peace. The other thing that Paul reminds us in Philippians 4 is this. He says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in all things through prayer and supplication, let your requests be made known unto God, and the peace that passes all understanding will guard your heart and your mind." Wow, what a promise. That's a promise I memorized when I was in college because I was very anxious about school. I never was a good tester. I was a great student, but not a good tester. I worked very, very hard. But I was very anxious, and this verse resonated to my heart and my soul because I wanted the peace that passes all understanding that would certainly guard my heart and my mind. As a matter of fact, Jesus tried to share with the disciples of the suffering that he was about to encounter and endure. And he then said, "I share with you these things that you may have peace." Well, isn't that interesting? In the midst of the suffering, unimaginable suffering, Jesus shares the story that they may have peace. As a matter of fact, Jesus says it a different way. He says, for those that are followers of Jesus Christ, for those that hunger for Christ, they are blessed if they are peacemakers because they are the children of God. That's what they will be called. So we are to really be able to reflect peacemaking in so many, many ways. The reality is sometimes there are troublemakers, but we have to be overcomers and be peacemakers. We need to realize that in all of the Bible, some of the greatest qualities are those individuals, unlikely individuals, that become peacemakers because the Spirit of God worked in their hearts. You know, I think of a story in the Old Testament of Jacob and Esau. Boy, Jacob was a rascal, I'm telling you, and these two brothers didn't get along, and they had to part their ways. And for at least 14 years they were separated, if not longer. And there was a time when Jacob wanted to come back home. Esau had established himself and had 400 men, and they were going to come together, and Jacob was terrified. He knew that if Esau wanted to, he could destroy everything Jacob had built up and in his family. But the one who seemed to be offended the most offered a hand of reconciliation, and peace was established between these brothers. So beautiful was the peace, so grave was the anxiety, that when they came together, Jacob saw Esau, and it says, it is like unto seeing the face of God when they came together. I'll tell you, that's real peace. And I want to remind you that we need to teach our children how to be peace-loving, how to share peace, how to take the initiative and be a peaceable people of being the children of the living God. May God bless you as you seek the peace of God this day. And I want to remind you, we had a wonderful Sunday this past Sunday. Our worship experiences, remember, are now at 9 o'clock and at 11 o'clock. And we had great success in sanitizing the building, and people had lots of time to be able to get to and fro from their Zoom meetings of Sunday school and worship. So God bless you. May you seek the peace of God, and may the peace of God resonate in your heart and in your soul.